Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. It makes sense to expect XRP to massively over-deliver when the next crypto market euphoria stage hits. And yes, historically, XRP lags behind and frequently trends downward. I've shown that. I've proven that on this channel. Most months, XRP is down rather than up. That's just a fact. But even so, it's currently outperforming most other top 100 cryptocurrencies by market cap. Most of them. And on top of that, history shows us that when XRP goes, it puts every other coin in existence to shame. So I don't care if historically it's true that most months XRP is down, and the reason it doesn't matter is because when it goes, it really truly melts faces. And so here's an article from the Crypto Basic talking about this topic, but I want to add some perspective to this. The headline is, XRP outperforms 60% of top 100 coins, but massively down on long-term scale. And so there are a number of points they make, and they end up getting into a comparison of XRP versus Bitcoin and ETH, and how terribly XRP is performing compared to Bitcoin and ETH. But that's why I want to add some perspective, because I'll not just dispute facts. If a fact is a fact, then fine, it's a fact. But the narrative that goes along with this, I don't think that there's sufficient context provided, and that's what I want to add to this discussion. And then second, I haven't talked about that cucumber-eating son of a bitch, SBF. So glad he's in prison. This is fantastic. But this is a story that I just think is delightful. Look at this headline. This is from Forbes. Oh, I love this. I was laughing as I read this. Sam Bankman-Fried's attorney calls him the worst witness ever after fraud conviction. And so not so happy with the way that SBF portrayed himself and what he had to say as he was under oath on the stand. It's just so funny to see one of the key attorneys behind his defense saying, yeah, that SBF, oh my God, what a train wreck. It's just delightful because that guy's an absolute monster. But before going any further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, let's jump into this first one here. The price of XRP has gained over 65% since the start of January, making it one of the best performing cryptocurrency assets among the top 100 coins. A significant chunk of the gains came in July after a U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Ripple in a long-standing lawsuit with the Securities and Exchange Commission. However, XRP investors have seen most of the unrealized gains in the aftermath of the court victory wiped out, despite the broader crypto market being in an uptrend for most of the year. So I got to pause here and already add context. And I talked about this at the time. There are a lot of new people also, so I'm not sure how many of you even heard me say this. But yes, so July 13th, XRP Victory Day, has legal clarity, fantastic, almost doubles in price in a matter of hours, and that caused Bitcoin to follow. And that's one of the coolest damn things, because there have been a handful of times over the years where this has happened, where XRP has led the global crypto market. That has happened. It's probably like, I don't know, 3 or 5 times the whole time I've been in crypto. It's super rare for this to happen. This is one of the instances. XRP runs, and Bitcoin's like, oh, I better pay attention. And then Bitcoin catches up, which is fine. It's cool to see that. But after that happened, Bitcoin was in a downtrend at that point, so it's not surprising that we didn't see XRP blast off to an all-time high. Now that it's the benefit of hindsight, fine. But prices were trending down for quite a bit of time. And I'll just note that as we got to a local bottom a couple months or so later, XRP was substantially higher than where it was before there was legal clarity for it, whereas Bitcoin was much lower. And I pointed that out at the time. So even though both were going down because the whole market was going down, Bitcoin over that period of time performed much, much worse than XRP. And so depending on what narrative you want to paint, you can select specific time periods. And that's the broader point I wanted to make. That in and of itself didn't mean anything. So that didn't mean that XRP would or wouldn't, that specific time period, that didn't mean that XRP would or wouldn't have superior price action for the remainder of the year, just broadly speaking. It didn't mean that one way or another. It's just a small instance, a small period of time that people were looking at. Anyway, piece continues. While XRP reached as high as 93 cents following the ruling, the crypto asset eventually dropped to 44 cents. XRP eventually managed a long-term rebound that has taken it above 62 cents at the time of writing. The less than impressive performance of XRP has raised concerns among investors on whether it is still ideal to hold the cryptocurrency, especially with Ripple's legal woes still not wholly resolved. Okay, so that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. XRP has legal clarity, and let's be honest here. And I'm a fan of Ripple. I mean, that's not a secret. I've been running this channel for almost 5 years now. A big fan of Ripple. It does not matter to the average XRP holder what happens to Ripple from a legal perspective, because XRP has legal clarity. That's all we need to care about. And I don't even see anybody in our community worried about what happens with Ripple. So that just seems like a bogus comment there, to be honest with you. But the part that I really want to add some context to and just kind of rip to shreds this narrative is what comes next. So check this out. A closer comparison with other top assets like Bitcoin and Ether further expose XRP's lukewarm performance. XRP's performance over the past 3 years has been largely shaped by Ripple's regulatory hurdles, which began in late 2020. As evidenced in July, the company's partial victory led to a surge in price. The uncertainties facing XRP mean it barely stands a chance compared to Bitcoin and ETH. Okay, that's a false narrative. That is absolutely not the case. There's been way more money flowing in if you look on the institutional front. What exchange has not relisted XRP? Are there any that haven't relisted XRP? And so obviously, nobody has concern about that. That is a false narrative. And I like the crypto basic. This is a false narrative. It absolutely is not true. XRP price is down because demand hasn't been as high as other coins during the selected time period. But there have been other time periods where it has been higher, as I'm going to demonstrate that none of this matters. So check this out. They write, in the past 5 years, XRP's value is up 102% against the dollar, but down 82% compared with Bitcoin, and a further 91% against the second largest crypto, ETH. XRP has also struggled with the 3-year time frame, losing 52% and 73% against Bitcoin and ETH, respectively. Okay, well, first, let me make very clear that ultimately what happens, what matters most to XRP holders is what XRP is worth in United States dollars, or if you're not using United States dollars, whatever your fiat currency might be. For me, it's United States dollars, so we're going to run with that, though. We do not care what it is, broadly speaking anyway, we do not care what it is worth in Bitcoin. We care what it is worth. So if XRP is worth 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks, whatever your price would be where you'd finally be enticed to sell, that's what you care about. If Bitcoin is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and it's outperforming over a select time period, why would you care about that? You wouldn't, right? And so consider this. Look at this chart, and just to prove like there is absolutely nothing wrong with XRP. I just pulled up CoinMarketCap. You don't even need to go to TradingView. You don't need a fancy platform. You can go straight up to CoinMarketCap and do this comparison right here. This is a 1-year chart for XRP price in United States dollars. The blue line is the price of XRP. The orange line is the price of Bitcoin. You might notice upon first glance that it looks like these two lines, although don't perfectly fit, they're almost puzzle pieces. They almost butt up perfectly against one another. And yes, there are outlier instances, and that's not surprising. But broadly speaking, the biggest moves, they match up quite well. And there's one part that doesn't. Obviously, XRP substantially outperformed Bitcoin, where I'm highlighting right now, which would be when it got legal clarity in July. Okay, sure. But other than that, look at the most massive moves. And Bitcoin was leading the way with this stuff. Bitcoin moves. I mean, if for those of you look at the screen, you can see where I'm circling right here in March. Bitcoin moved up, and then it was, how many days later? Let's see. So this is March 11th. Then you get to here, and it was what? Okay, so 9 days later, March 20th. XRP followed 9 days later. So for the 9 days in between, you could be sweating bullets. Oh my God, Bitcoin's taken off. What about my XRP? My gosh, 9 whole days. And we've seen that crap recently. With Bitcoin doing well, XRP lagging behind. I'm like, my God, you guys got to zoom out on a chart, which is what I'm doing here. You zoom out on a chart. You're like, oh yeah, those sons of bitches are puzzle pieces. There ain't nothing wrong. The asset class moves together. You can see this, right? And it doesn't move perfectly in tandem. Certainly not down to the second, the minute, the day, the week, so on and so forth. But it does move in tandem. And we know historically that XRP just lags behind. So this whole narrative about XRP, you can look at the XRP BTC chart. You can look at that and you can see how XRP is just dwindling away. Here's one on TradingView right here. I pulled this up before recording because I was just glancing at it. But in the end, it doesn't matter. And to drive the point home further, this is just a Bitcoin price chart. I'm using Live Coin Watch now. I had a bunch of stuff open here. But in 2017, XRP started the year at about half a penny. And then by whether it was April or May, ran up to a little over 40 cents, 42, 43 cents, whatever it was. And then it cratered back down and was floating around sideways, mostly like 15 to 20 cents, maybe a little higher than that briefly for most of the next year. So think about that. XRP was flat from that point. If you just say roughly May of 2017, XRP was basically flat. I mean, yeah, there's volatility because it's crypto, but it was basically moving sideways for half of a year. And this is a known thing. I've talked about this many times. But what happened with Bitcoin? Well, you can see it on the chart here. This is a Bitcoin price chart. So even if you're looking at May, you know, it was Bitcoin was a little under two. That's say $1,800 in roughly the middle of May. Well, we know what happened over the course of the next 7 months. It went from less than $2,000 to $20,000, and XRP just moved sideways. Was there something wrong with XRP during that time period? Because I'm telling you, although it was worth about the same amount in United States dollars, because it was trading within that narrow band, it was worth the same roughly in United States dollars, pick a point. But if you're looking at what it was worth in Bitcoin, it was down substantially. Do we give a damn? No, we do not, because it doesn't matter. What matters in the end is what it's worth in whatever fiat currency you care about. In this case, I'm talking about the United States dollar. And so we know the story. In December, in the middle of December, as Bitcoin was hitting its peak close to $20,000, that was right at the time when XRP went on a tear. So does it matter that XRP was substantially down in terms of Bitcoin for over half a year? Or does it matter that Bitcoin went on a face-melting rampage at the end of 2017? You know the answer to that. And so this narrative that doesn't provide additional context, this is why I wanted to push back against this. And nothing against the crypto basic, and people are entitled to their opinions. I think that my perspective here makes way, way, way more sense. And even though I like the crypto base, that's why I wanted to come here and just say, I don't think this is a reasonable full story. I don't think it's even close to the full story. And that's why I wanted to add some context here. It doesn't matter. And yes, we've been seeing that in the short term. And yes, we've been seeing people flip out. And yes, it's true that it does not matter. None of this matters in the end. And historically, XRP does go on these rallies. So what I want to see, and this is a requirement historically for XRP to hit a new all-time high, what I want to see is Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. Because after that happens, that's one of the requirements for XRP to hit a new all-time high. And of course, the stock market has to be, playing ball too in a fair way. And it is right now. Right now it is. Everything is aligned. We're just waiting for this to actually unfold. If Bitcoin is going to hit a new all-time high, I cannot imagine that XRP doesn't. Unless there's a wild card event, then that's always my caveat. Outside of that, no, of course it's going to. Why wouldn't it? And nobody knows for sure, fine. But that would be my very strong supposition. And if it doesn't happen, in the absence of new evidence, or a new indication of why it wouldn't, I would think that there is something serious there. I'd be wondering why, okay, now it's getting treated differently. That's what I would think. I don't think that there's something wrong just because it didn't hit a new all-time high in 2021. And I sure as hell don't think that there's a problem just because it didn't hit a new all-time high in July this year when it got legal clarity. The market wasn't hot and the asset class moves in tandem. It's rare to see outliers get to new all-time highs without Bitcoin. I have seen it happen with some coins, rare instances, like Chainlink did it, I think, in 2019. So it can happen. XRP, it's never happened for XRP. So why are we going to expect that it would now, just because of this? And it was not, I don't find it unreasonable to have speculated that it might have. We were talking about that on this channel and broadly in the XRP community. I don't think it was crazy to question if it was going to. But, I mean, I talked about the concept at the time, but even then I acknowledge, guys, just so you know, it's never happened before. If it does, awesome. Maybe we're not thinking big enough. Okay. But I also acknowledge it's never happened before. It's always been Bitcoin leading the way first. So that's what I'm saying. So if we're going to get this new all-time high, which many people think that we are, and we'll see if we do or not, there we go. And even if things crater down and Bitcoin doesn't hit a new all-time high, I'm just going to be more patient than everyone else because that's what it takes. And I think I'm going to end up where I want to end up. That's what I'm saying here. Now on to this, because this is just fun. From Forbes, Sam Bankman-Fried's attorney calls him the worst witness ever after fraud conviction. That cucumber-eating son of a bitch. Man, this guy sucks. This guy sucks hard. Piece reads as follows. One of the attorneys behind Sam Bankman-Fried's legal defense told Bloomberg the FTX founder was the worst witness he's ever seen during cross-examination at Bankman-Fried's criminal trial, as Bankman-Fried faces a potential decades-long sentence after he was convicted on multiple fraud and conspiracy charges. Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what the ultimate sentence is going to be, and I believe it's in March. I can't remember. Maybe it doesn't cite it, it does cite it in this article. So we're looking at March 28th, 2024. Maximum sentence would be 110 years. So we can hope for that. I'm not convinced he's necessarily going to get that, But it's a virtual certainty. At minimum, he's going to get at least a few decades, hopefully more than that, because he's absolutely destroyed people's lives. But we'll find out soon. So that'll be a fun day also for us. But there's some bullet points here. Check this out. David Mills, a criminal defense attorney and Stanford Law School professor, said Bankman-Fried, quote, may be at the very top of the list as the worst person I've ever seen do a cross-examination, end quote. It's gotta love it. And it's the arrogance of this guy. Because, you know, he was fooling people. He was saying all these things that people thought were super deep and super smart, and the altruism and all that crap. You know, the fake persona that he had where he was actually tricking people. He's like, oh, I'm so altruistic. He was not. He was not. It was all facade. I drive a Honda or whatever the hell he's driving. Nothing against Hondas. I think he was driving a Honda. Maybe it was a Toyota. But it was a facade. He used to have a luxury car. He sold it to paint this picture that he's just like everybody else. He's just the altruism. And so it's all fake here. And so he thought that he could just get on that stand, just do some razzle dazzle magic here, and he's going to trick everybody, every juror. He's going to trick everybody that's listening. Well, that didn't pan out, did it? This was a bad move in hindsight, right? And I wasn't optimistic for him. I was glad he was doing it. I was like, yeah, this probably won't go well for him. And this, mind you, this is one of the guys that designed his defense. He's like, yeah, that did not go so well. Good. Next bullet point. Mills is a close family friend, and that makes it all the richer. Mills is a close family friend of Bankman-Fried's parents, Joseph Bankman and Barbara Fried, and advised him pro bono as a favor to the family, Bloomberg reported. The lawyer said Bankman-Fried's case was almost impossible to win, and that's a quote, because of pre-trial rulings by the judge and testimony by the prosecution's witnesses, which included Alameda Chief Executive Caroline Ellison and FTX executives Gary Wang and Nasheed Singh. Bankman-Fried could have framed his defense differently and attempted to convince the jury that he was trying to save FTX, Mills argued, though this strategy would likely not work because, quote, he can't tell the story that all these people are lying, end quote, referring to the FTX executives who testified against him at trial. Yeah, and so even if things had gone a little bit differently, I'll just say, he was destined to lose because he's actually guilty. That's why. That's the real reason. And yes, the other executives, including Caroline Ellison, they got sweetheart deals, and I mean, they're still going to prison. But yes, they were coming against SBF. So yes, of course that was, but he made it that much worse by actually speaking the way that he did. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as me. It's just look when a monster like this destroys that many people's lives. Yes, we should be thrilled that they get theirs. Absolutely. This is justice, absolutely. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.